Hello again everyone and welcome. I'm Jamaican Youth, and in this video I'll be talking about Jamaica versus Guatemala, the Gold Cup quarterfinal match which will be taking place in Cincinnati, Ohio at the TQL Stadium on Sunday, July 9 at 5 p.m. East Coast time. Maybe different where you are. I want to talk about that a little bit and just talk a little bit about ways in which Jamaica can defeat Guatemala. It's not going to be an easy contest because, as we know, playing against Central American opposition, sometimes we, Jamaica, we face, it's a little bit tricky for us. So I want to talk a little bit about things that I saw, things that I'm seeing with Guatemala, and things that we can exploit, ways in which we can, things that we can do to defeat Guatemala, ways in which we can defeat Guatemala. So I'm going to get into that a little bit soon. But before I do so, I would like to ask you to hit the like button because it sends the video out to more eyes. And I'd like to ask you to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so as yet, as it helps the channel to grow, and we're trying to grow the channel. So without further ado, let's talk about this upcoming match between Jamaica and Guatemala. Before I get into that, I was watching the matches last night to see who Jamaica was going to play. Were we going to, as you know, there were three teams in contention for first and second. It was going to be between Guadeloupe, Guatemala, and Canada. And, at one point, Guadeloupe was at the top, then it switched to Guatemala, then at one point, even Canada was at the top. But it eventually ended where Guatemala won the group, and Canada came second, and Guadeloupe is out of the tournament. And it's kind of funny because a lot of people thought that Guadeloupe was going to end up winning this group, and Jamaica would probably end up facing Guadeloupe. And, at the start of the night last night, Canada was in third position, but they ended up being second. So pretty interesting, very exciting night of football. I hope you watched it. If you're a football fan, you would have seen a lot of what happened. But it was a pretty good night of football to watch. Very exciting, some really nice goal scoring. So let's talk about Jamaica versus Guatemala. First of all, before I get into the things, Jamaica has a really good record against Guatemala. So Jamaica, the head-to-head record between Jamaica and Guatemala is that Jamaica has 10 wins, 3 draws, and 3 losses against Guatemala. So that's a total of 16 games that Jamaica has played at the senior level between Guatemala. And we have won most of our games. I can comfortably say that we have beaten them most of the times we have faced them. Out of the 16 games, we have only lost 3. We have won 10 and drawn 3. So that's a pretty strong record against Guatemala. So that's a good thing. But as Coach Hallgrams will say, what has happened in the past doesn't matter now. It's a brand new game, and, the ball is rolling, anything can happen. So, as a result, though, of the fact that there is that we have such a strong record of them, I don't fear them. I am not fearing, fearing, Guatemala. I'm looking forward to the game because I know their fans are going to come out. If you watched the game yesterday, they were throwing stuff at the Guadeloupe players when they scored. So I hope Jamaica is paying attention to that and be ready for if and when that happens. But I'm not fearing them. I think we have a good record against them. So, but also, this game against Guatemala, if we can get past them, and I'm not looking past them too far, but if we get past them, it's a good preparation to play Mexico, who, if things go according to how it looks like it will go, and we get past Guatemala, we'll likely run into Mexico in the semifinal. Now, Mexico is not going to have it easy. I think they're going to be facing Costa Rica, which is a much better matchup for them as opposed to them facing Martinique, which it at one point seemed like they were going to face. But as of now, they're facing, Costa Rica in their quarterfinals. So that's not going to be an easy game for them. So it's not a guarantee that we're going to face Mexico in the semifinals. But, it's expected that Mexico will win that game. So we'll see. And then Guatemala has good ball possession, but they're not exactly Mexico or Spain. They're not Spain on in terms of possession of the ball. So I think Guatemala, while they can possess the ball, they outpossessed Guadeloupe last night. Even though Guadeloupe played really well, I think Guadeloupe probably could have or should have won the game, but I don't know. They took their feet off the gas and, maybe got tired towards the end of the game or just got a little bit jaded mentally too. And then, Guatemala just won the game. And there were some things that they didn't do. They did that I hope Jamaica is paying attention to. And I'm going to get into them right about now. But I just kind of mentioned some things to say. In general, I'm not really fearing this Guatemala team. Even though they are going to be a competent matchup for us. I'll put it that way. They're going to be a competent matchup for us. So, here are the 5 ways in which, or the 5 things I think Jamaica should do in order to defeat Guatemala. I think if we do these 5 things, even though we have a strong record against them, we will defeat Guatemala. Number 1 is to high press Guatemala. So, and some of these things I'm kind of using based on some of the games and the highlights that I've seen of how Guatemala play. But high press them. When they have the ball deep in their half, do not allow them to pass out from the back. Press them as soon as they pass the ball out to their defenders, because they're going to try and play out from the back, unless they get desperate. But they're going to try and play out from the back. So if Jamaica high press them, what will happen? It will force them to go over the top. It will force them to go long, and then we can try and win the second ball. And I think we stand a better chance of winning the second ball from them if they go long, because we're taller than them. I think our positioning is better than they have. I think we have much better quality players man for man than Guatemala. So if they go over the top with Lambert, with Lowe and with Bernard, who I'm expecting to start, I think that if you go over the top, those players are going to be able to out-jump them and probably win the ball for us. I think we stand a better chance of winning the second ball than they do. So high press them, force them to go long, not give them too much time on the ball, because they're very good in possession. Even though, as I said, I don't think they're exactly Mexico or Spain, they're still very good in possession. But so don't give them too much time on the ball. High press them, force them to go long. I think we stand a better chance of winning the second ball than they do, and then we are in possession. When we are in possession, I think that we can possess the ball better than. I don't think we have to necessarily go at their pace, but I think our passing can keep them off for a little bit. So, and that's a way that we can get settled into the game. We can kind of get into the rhythm of the game. So that's one thing. Number 2 is to close them down on the wings. One of the things that I noticed in Guatemala playing Guadeloupe yesterday, they went down the wings a lot. They're very good at whether it's the left wing or the right wing. They go down the wing, cross the ball, and try to get a header on target. And as a matter of fact, that's how I think 2 of their goals were scored. The second goal that was scored like that was a little bit more narrow, so it still was a ball that was across the face of goal, and then someone tapped it in. But it's the concept was the same. It was going down the wing, putting it across, and scoring. So I think 2 out of the 3 goals that they scored last night was like that. One came in from the left wing, their left, and it crossed over, and then someone I think there was a header to goal there. And then the other one came down where I think the guy, his name is Mendes or something like that. He was down the right-hand side. He crossed it inside and then someone tapped it in. So that's what that's how they attack. They attack on the wings. So we need to close them down on the wings. And I know Lembikisa, he's very good at closing down the wings. You saw him play against Mexico, how he came on and really shut down our right wing, or their Mexico's left wing that they were exploiting before. And he came and shut that down. So very good. And then same with Amarabel. Amarabel, you might need to stay back a little bit because I know a lot of the times he advances up the pitch, which is good. He's an intelligent player, Amarabel. But just remember that when they break on the, they tend to go down on the wing and try and cross in to score. So we need to close them down on the wing. Number 3, the third thing we need to do, close them down at the top of the box. If you watch a lot of the Central American teams, and in particular Guatemala, they like to kick long-range shots, and some of them score, as was the case with Guatemala last night. Their third goal was a ball that they got at the top of the box, and the guy twisted and turned, and then he got a shot off, and the keeper probably could have saved it, though. He could have pushed it over the bar, but he tried to push it over the bar, and it ended up in the net instead. So, but that wasn't the only shot that they took from the top of the box. No, technically, if they take it from the top of the box in traffic, then you can't really blame the defenders for that because they're closing them down and forcing them to kick the shot from far out, which is good because those are not high probability shots. They don't have a very high probability of scoring, but some of them can. So when I'm saying close them down at the top of the box, I'm saying while you might not be able to completely stop them from kicking a shot from the top of the box, if you give them low probability shots, close them down to the extent that they can only have low probability shots, then that's good, because those are probably not really going to be on target, because if you close them down well enough, they're not even going to be able to get a good look at the goal in order to fire straight. They're going to want to fire around the defender, over the defender, under the defender, whatever it is. So once we close them down at the top of the box, it's going to lower their probability of scoring, and we can live with that. If they kick a lot of low probability shots, they go over the bar or wherever, and we can live with that. But we need to close them down at the top of the box as well and not give them any shots. Then number 4 is something that I've seen Jamaica do already, but is to be patient on the ball, but be patient with tempo, So the tempo that we played St. Kitts with in the first half of the last game, that tempo is not going to work. No, we can't. I think we led that at halftime with 2-0 or 3-0 or something like that against St. Kitts. However, the tempo was too slow, and that tempo is not going to work against Guatemala, because they're going to try and move the ball very quickly. They're going to run for the entire 90 minutes. They're going to be moving all over the field for the entire 90 minutes. So our tempo has to be a little higher, a little faster than it was against St. Kitts. Kind of more like how we played against Trinidad. The tempo was a little bit better. I think we took Trinidad, especially with the tempo, very seriously. Even in Trinidad's game, we kind of high pressed them a little bit. Never give them a lot of time on the ball. So that's what we need to do with Guatemala as well. But be patient with the ball but with tempo. I think when you're patient with the ball, you allow the game to come to you and see what the game is giving you and then attack. And I think we're taller than them. We have attacking options all over the field. We have Demari Gray on the left that's probably going to terrorize their right back. We have Liam Bailey on the right, if he plays that role. Liam Bailey or Bobby Reid on the right, which if it's Liam Bailey and he is having an on night like he did against St. Kitts, it's going to be curtains. I have confidence that it's going to be curtains for Guatemala. If he's having a good night, You know, whether he plays the wing or he plays as a second striker to Mikel Antonio, if he is having a good night, Leon Bailey, it's gonna be very difficult for Guatemala. I just think that Leon Bailey has that quality to change the game or to wipe out the opposition. And he doesn't have to score. You know, he just has to have a good game. You know, so but you'll have Bobby Reid or Leon Bailey on the right, and then Mikel Antonio in the middle that will go with that. You know, he can bully defenders and go through the middle. So we have many different attacking options. You know, I think we can possess the ball, you know, and build into their half and then make our attack. Or even if we go long over the top, we still stand a better chance of winning the ball against them. I think there is a lot of upsides to Jamaica playing this Guatemala team, but I'll talk about that at the end. And then finally, the final thing I want to talk about is put away chances when you get them. Very important that at this stage of the competition, we can't have there is not we don't have time to be missing opportunities, you know, because the opportunities are going to get less and less as you progress further in the tournament. So this is quarterfinals. You're going to get less opportunities than you got in the group stage. If you make it to the semifinals, you're going to get even less. And then when you get to the final, it's going to be the best at that time. So you're going to get one or two opportunities, not going to get a lot. So this is where the competition really starts. You have to put away your chances. You have to be clinical. There's no, you don't have time to miss opportunities. And in saying that, putting away your chances and putting away more than one of them. One goal is not going to keep us, is not safe. A one goal lead is not a safe lead. So we need to put away our chances and score at least at a minimum more than one. You know, I would say try and score 3 goals against Guatemala. I think that's going to put you in the safe zone. But take your chances, score more than 1 goals, and try and score at least 3, I would say. And I think that will do us good. I like our chances against, you know, Guatemala. I think, you know, with our good record against them, you know, and that was with teams that is not as good as the team we have now. I mean, look at the team we have. We have, you know, the strongest team we have ever assembled in history, essentially. You know, we have 4 Premier League players. We have 1 player who is going to the Premier League, so that's technically 5 Premier League players. We have Andre Blake, who is arguably the best goalkeeper in the region. We have Damian Lowe, who really should be playing at a higher level than he's playing now. He really should be playing in minimum the championship in England. I like, you know, and you look at Lembekisa, who is up and coming. And then even the bench for the left back and the right back is pretty strong. I like Taxi Lawrence. I like Javian Brown coming in. You know, I think those guys can do creditable jobs too. Lambert is a rising star, and I hope Lambert, you know, depending on how well we do in this tournament, he ends up getting to move to a higher league because he clearly can manage playing at a higher level, Lambert. So I think it's probably a good time for him to move to a higher league. But we have a really strong team. When you look at Guatemala's team, they are mostly a group of players. Most of their players come from Antigua FC and Comunicaciones FC in Guatemala. Those, you know, those are the 2 clubs that have most of their players. And then you have some players that play in MLS, and then 1 player that plays in the League One. So, you know, I like our chances against Guatemala. I think we match up against them well. It's a good preparation. Should we get past them and we're going to face Mexico or Costa Rica, it's preparing us to face them because it's going to be a similar style. So I predict a win for Jamaica. I'm confident that this team will get past Guatemala with this coach and with the confidence in the camp now. I think that we stand a good chance of getting past Guatemala And I support the Reggae Boyz. You know, I really want to say that. I support you. Go out there and make us proud. We're 150% behind you in support. And we want to see you do well. We want to see you go out there and win this Gold Cup. So until next time, everybody, I'm going to stop it here. Take care of yourself. Remember to hit the like button and smash the like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so on your way out. And until next time, take care of yourself. I'm out.